Hi, my name is Spike Edney and I am the keyboard player for Queen and Adam Lambert. It's a position I've held for 40 years, since 1984, the Works Tour. And I'd like to share with you my wonderful KORG setup that I've used in various forms for many years. I think I started out with an M1, and then later on there was an M3, and then there was a Triton, and then there was the Kronos, which I had for a very long time, and more recently moved into the Nautilus. As you can see, I've got two keyboards here put into a grand piano box. This is showbiz, doesn't do anything, it's just a keyboard stand, but it looks fantastic. And it works well when you're playing with a band called Queen. Now, back in those days, in 1984, I had three keyboards. I had, first of all, I had an analog keyboard down here. Then I had a sampler keyboard in the middle. And on the top, I had a vocoder, because the song Radio Gaga uses the vocoder, and that was the only thing I would use it for, and I'll show you that in a minute. And it was a case of me having to change sounds on the sampler. It had the large floppy disks, about that big. And if I wanted to have a string sound, I had to unload and reload whilst I was playing, and that led to all kinds of problems. I'm happy to say that we have made giant technological advances, and instead of three, I can actually do the whole Queen show with this one keyboard, because it has a great piano sound and a weighted touch, so it's lovely to play. It has great onboard sounds for strings and pads and whatever else I want to do, but it has the capacity to load samples in if there's anything I want to fire myself, and I do fire a couple of things. And it also has an inbuilt vocoder. So we have compressed all those three keyboards into this one. So I said about Radio Gaga all those years ago. I'll just give you a quick resume of what was involved with that. So you get the idea. I can play those, and then at the same time I add this. I have everything I need to play this song. As the tour went on, I realized I could do more things within the work rather than just play piano and the set things like Radio Gaga. Because of the vocoder's ability, I decided that I could help augment the vocal sound. Queen are famous for their multi-layered studio vocals. Very difficult for them to do on stage. There's only 4 of them, and now I'm the extra person 5. So Fred's the lead singer. Brian and Roger can do backing vocals. Brian's often running around the stage though and doesn't. So it's John doesn't sing, the bass player, and so Roger and I do the backing vocals. So it's 2 voices. Well, that's not multi-layered, but in certain songs I could use help. And there's a song called Now I'm Here. So you can see, I used the vocoder to add some depth and texture to the backing vocals, quite useful. So we moved on and did that. By the time we got to 1986, there's an album called Kind of Magic. The song starts off with a studio sample of effects. It's a direct lift from the album again, and is used just for the intro, but so that we can use effects and visual effects. But what I can do with that is Back in the day I didn't do it, Fred used to sing it, but in recent years I've done this. It's a kind of magic. Now I'm triggering that it's a kind of magic myself, so I choose when it happens. It's not a tape or anything. It's not built into the sample, the background sample. It's me going. It's a all right. It's a kind of magic. So. It's a kind of magic. Do much more. And then we have I've got piano and strings. It's a kind of magic. Self-sufficient. I could be the band on my own, really, but I'm joking. We have more singers on the stage now. We've got Neil Fairclough on bass and Tyler Warren on percussion. Both have got great voices, so we can do a lot more of the vocals. But I still use it to augment. So. And there's an effect where the vocal slides up on the record and it goes, magic, that Fred did, multi-layered, but we can do that. So, combination of pitch wheel, pitch controller, and changing the chord. It doesn't work that you just, if you were to just go, this is the chord you want to end up on. If you just pitch down from that, it's the wrong chord. So you have to find the right chord when it's pitched down, which is this. So, again, a lot of stuff that can be done with that. Other songs that I use, the facilities that this machine has, one especially is Another One Bites the Dust. So we have a combination of original studio samples taken from the stems, but then I've got a whole bunch of internal stuff that comes from KORG itself. So the opening sound is the beginning of the song. Now that's a really slow backwards piano. That's a backwards cymbal. I think it's all back, maybe a couple of backwards cymbals layered. Very good. And so they are actual studio samples, but then I've got things that I've added from the KORG sounds. Now, of course, you have to use things like this sparingly. You can't have them all going on all the time, so they happen at various times throughout the song. Add to that, I use the basic German grand piano. We have a song called Under Pressure. And then when it gets to the next part of the song, I bring in the strings. In the middle, there's a middle eight that features an organ. And by hitting the foot pedal, I can bring in the Leslie chorus. So again, I have many things that I can choose to play with. I suppose what I think is that Queen is quite a demanding musical adventure, and there are lots of things that can be done to make their sound more realistic for the audience. And I'm very happy with the KORG Nautilus because it gives me all those tools that I need to make a convincing representation of them. Now, of course, you can't make it exactly like the record, that's impossible. But what you can do is give it something that gives people the impression, and if you make it close enough, their brain will do the rest. So I get everything I need out of this with the sample ability, the inbuilt sounds, which are fantastic, by the way. I think you probably recognize that. And that is pretty straightforward all the way through. I had some strings in the middle. Can't think of a finer way to end.